live here in Michigan in what is called the Tri-Cities area, and that consists of Saginaw to the south, which is where I live, Bay City to the north, and Midland to the west. Now, all of these communities have had a substantial Native American population in prehistoric times, with a good reason. There's a lot of rivers that converge in Saginaw County, but Michigan as a whole is like that because there are a lot of rivers and streams all over the state, and they were used by the highways as highways for the Native American Indians with their dugout canoes and birch bark canoes and what have you. Well, a year or so back, my friend Jennifer over at Court Street Antiques gave me quite a nice collection of Saginaw newspapers from the 1960s. And I'm going to share with you an article that's in one called Midland History Long and Colorful, but it is about the Native American history there in Midland. And this newspaper was published on Sunday, June 9th, 1968. So here we go. Midland County's Indian history, mostly because of the advantages of travel and fishing along the Tittabawassee, the Pine, and the Chippewa rivers, which meet in the city of Midland, has been rich and colorful. Some of that history is given in detail in the Album of Michigan County History, which was printed in 1884. So it continues. Nearly all the Indians living in this portion of the state belong to the Chippewa tribe, although the Potawatomi and Ottawas were so mixed with them by intermarriage that comparatively few full-blooded specimens could be found either of any of the tribes. There was always a kindly feeling existing between the Indians and the whites of this county, and no disturbance of importance was noted during the early history in the early contact with the white man and woman. Their time was spent in hunting, fishing, and trading, having only a few acres of cleared land, which was cultivated very poorly, and their dances were the occasion of much hilarity, and everyone who desired was made welcome to participate. The sugar dance, the corn dance, harvest dance, and so on, and the war dance were the only recreations indulged in unless it were an occasional horse race, and these were tame affairs, the ponies following each other along a trail in a single file. So it seemed like it would be kind of mundane, but anyways. Their manner of burial was peculiar. The corpses were wrapped with bark and deposited in a shallow grave, which was then filled with earth covered with bark. Sometimes the graves and the remains were also covered with red ochre mineral, which simulated the color of life to the Native American people. A pipe, tobacco, and hatchet were put at the head of the grave, and quarterly, during the first year, a squirrel or some other animal was buried, that the warrior might have sustenance or support until he reached the happy hunting ground. The article goes on. The Indians could marry for a moon or life, just as they liked. The marriage ceremony consisted only in the presenting of the bride to the bride a necklace, blanket, or any trinket which is accepted, constituted marriage. Their number of wives was not limited, some having 3 or 4. Pamosuga, the aged Chippewa chief, died at Indiantown near St. Louis, Michigan, and his body was kept laying in state for several days. Plenty of whiskey was furnished. The Indians from some quarter and riot and revelry prevailed. During the carnival of drunkenness, 3 squaws were murdered and their bodies were burned. Now, Megan Gaywan, a daughter of the chief, mentioned afterward married Henry Ashman, who represented the people from Midland County in the state legislature at a later date. Now, 2 of his sons lived in Isabella County, Both were intelligent and worthy men. Mrs. Mary Gruet, wife of James Gruet, who accompanied as an interpreter at the Indian mission, still lived at the time that this account was written, still lived near St. Louis, and was possessed of quite a fund of information regarding Indian life. My God, it would be amazing to talk to somebody like that. The old Iroquois' blood is flowing in the veins of many of them, and here and there one can trace ascendants of the Miamis, the Senecas, and other, often oftener the old and once powerful Potawatomis, the old Etowah and Ojibwa, now corrupted into Ottawa and Chippewa, are also represented largely. It surprises me the name Etowah here. I'm deviating from the text because Etowah was used down in Georgia as there is the Etowah Mound Group, which I've had the occasion to visit twice. Very impressive earthworks. I don't know if these Etowah if they're saying that they're related to the ones down down in the southern part of the United States, and I don't think it says, but it continues. So the present tribe, designated as Chippewa, Saginaw, Swan Creek, and Black River, is an amalgamation of several tribes which were once distinct. In the Detroit Treaty of November 17th, 1867, the lands in the Saginaw Territory were set apart for the Ottawa, Chippewa, Wyandot, and Potawatomi nations. And that's where the story ends. A little bit of background on the Indians that inhabited what is now the city of Midland. I have seen several very impressive and large collections of arrowheads, pottery, shards, and other artifacts from Midland. So it did have a large population. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll get together with you again hopefully real soon. Love you all very much. God bless you, and have a safe and awesome rest of your day. Later.